So are we saying we go back manual counting on the precinct level and then in the consolidation, computerized?
Yes.
That's the best. Para kita ng mga tao at the precinct level, no, kung what the results are.
In fact,
Then may paper trail.
and then may paper trail.
Okay. Certificate of canvas. Okay.
When COMELEC and Smartmatic say that us, the critics, want to go, are against full automation, that's not true because we never had full automation
Correct.
in this country.
Because manual yung botohan eh.
Manual yung botohan eh.
Yes, yes.
So for me, it's an outright lie, no,
yes.
that Smartmatic would say that we are actually using full automation already because the manual pa rin yung voting natin.
Yes, yes.
What we're saying is that we just extend the manual aspect into the counting.
Yes.
But at the same time, somebody now is encoding
Yes.
the manual results so that the manual counting so that it can be transmitted properly, no, and then effectively and transparently.
And there is a paper trail for referencing.
Yes. And what we want is an effective chain of custody or chain of evidence.
Okay.
Meaning that I'm the voter, I manually put I manually complete my ballot.
Yes.
I know that it's counted because I
Yes.
see it's being counted. And then the results are printed now, the election returns, and then it's posted on the precinct.
Okay.
So I can compare it now. I can
Okay.
look at the manually printed, no, the printed election returns. If it's transmitted, I can now compare what was transmitted and what was on the election return.
How about
And
the
this can
individual
be-
receipts? Do you believe in these individual receipts? After that, you can throw
Oh
it?
yes, yes.
Parang
If-
ATM, no?
It's not a foolproof.
Yes.
It's not foolproof, no. But if we insist on the PICOs, then I think we should follow what BIR says, no? That we should ask for a receipt always. You know, yun ang sabi ng BIR, ask for a receipt, no? And it's a little bit worrisome that Chairman Bautista already said that he is worried if a VVPAT, the voter verified paper audit trail, no? Or we can also call it a voter confirmation slip.
Kasi
is
gagamitin
printed.
pagbili ng boto.
Gag-
But that's a cop out as far as I'm concerned.
Number one, voters can take pictures anyway of the ballot, no?
Yes.
And show it
Yes.
outside,
Yes.
no? Pwede mo namang ihulog doon sa ibang ibang balota, ibang ballot box yung
Yes.
yung slip itself. the
This could be
receipt.
another paper trail for
Yes.
for verifying how
Exactly.
the people voted. Yes.
Exactly. In fact, we were saying that it increases also the transparency. Because if you now have
Plus more safeguards.
yes, as a voter, alam kong nabilang ng tama yung balota ko.
Yes.
And for me, that's already it increases now my confidence level about the election process. And for the COMELEC chair to be worried about it being chaotic, if the results of the slip is not comparable to what, or it's not the same as what I voted for, hindi siya dapat mag-worry dun sa receipt. Mag-worry siya dun sa accuracy.
Yes.
Kasi the receipt is only a reflection of how accurate the vote was, what the ballot was counted.
Correct.
So dapat doon siya mag-worry, hindi siya mag-worry doon sa resibo. The resibo is only an evidence. So sabi nga namin, kung ayaw mo ng ebidensya, baka may daya.
Takot sila na yung sistema ng pipiliin nila pumalpak.
That's true.
O baka alam na nilang papalpak at ayaw nila ng ebidensya.
You know, they're just being, careful.
Pinupulido nila yung sistema para walang ebidensya.
It could be. Kasi there is no reason for COMELEC nor no reason for Smartmatic
To take
not,
all the safeguards.
not to print that either
Yes.
we call it a VVPAT or you call it a voter confirmation slip.
Or to
It could
increase
be.
the level of
Yes.
safeguard and
Yeah.
confidence of the voter, no? Why would you do that?
Diba? Again,
And ikaw ang COMELEC, that's your mandate. That's your constitutional mandate.
not only that, again, coming from an IT perspective, no?
Oo.
As a project manager, you would want
Okay.
all the features in to make sure that the public has confidence in your system. So why would you remove something that increases the confidence level unless you're worried nga because yung accuracy rating mo is 99.6 in 2010, 98 point something in 2013. And if, as I said, no, if you look at the digital lines, COMELEC actually took 200,000 clustered precincts and they checked whether they had digital lines or not, no, the images. And it came out, 85% had digital lines.
A while ago, off camera, Leo, we were talking about, just very briefly, yung botong Pinoy.
Okay.
Yung that's
If I remember, Botong Pinoy was a project, I think, of Rafi Garcia,
Okay.
no, of Mega.
Yeah.
I remember because I was not very active yet in PCS, but I think they had some collaborations with PCS then wherein they presented that. And this was a DRE, a direct recording electronic. So it
Okay.
was, if I remember right, it was they even used a touch screen monitor
Okay.
wherein you can actually choose by tapping on the candidate's picture.
Faces. Okay.
Yes. Okay. And then it printed out the results
Uh-huh.
of what you chose, and that's what you drop in the ballot box.
Parang andali, no?
It's a ballot making machine. In fact, some
Oo.
advanced countries like Australia,
Are doing it.
they're doing that already. It's called a ballot making machine. So
Oo.
you come into the precinct, the polls, you choose your candidates,
Tapos titignan mo kung na-appreciate niya.
and then kung tama,
Ihulog mo
there
na.
could be several confirmations.
Tapos ihulog mo na.
And then, pag print, the same, ihulog mo. Yun ang bibilangin ngayon yung, dalawa ngayon ang bilang. Isa sa balota,
Oo.
yung physical ballot,
Oo.
and then yung electronic vote din.
Doesn't that make isn't that
Yes. And
Tapos yung biometrics para to check kung ikaw yung botante, parang gano'n.
yes, and now with the technology being cheaper in terms of using iPads,
Okay.
you know,
Pwede yan,
tablets.
kahit iPads lang, tablets.
Kasi, if I remember right, yung sa grupo nila Rafi before, they had a special screen.
Okay.
You don't need a special screen now
Anymore.
with tablets. Kasi yung tablets, touch screen na kaagad siya. And you
Okay.
can get very cheap tablets now.
Kaya lang nga, mas maliit ang kita ng kung sino interesado dyan. I'm talking about yung mag-a-approve. I'm talking about sa mag-a-approve. Mas maliit ang kita lang nga. Kaya lang masama ang loob niya. And then it maybe it increases the level of accuracy.
Yes.
Oh. But that makes sense, di ba? Yung mga nakikinig lang sa atin, andyan yung mga botante. Pipiliin mo yung muka kasi tayo, mahilig tayo sa mga muka eh. Pipiliin mo, gano'n. Pagtapos ka na, ilalabas yung pinili mo, balota. Masaya ka na, ihulog mo. Tapos na.
And with that kind of system, because it's more transparent, it lessens the number of operators in the field.
Aha.
Hindi ka na kasi pwede magbenta sa, in
Oo.
the provinces na pwede kong ayusin yung boto para manalo ka.
Oo.
In 2013, there were a lot of, let's call it rumors, no, of people approaching candidates and saying that they could actually modify the results of the election.
And as an IT expert, you know that can be done.
Yes.
That can be
Yes,
done, no?
yes.
National level especially.
Yes. Yes.
Kasi on national level, mas malaki ang dyan, no?
In fact, it was done already in 2013.
Tama ba? 200, 250, lang? Computers can change the national elections?
Actually, you just need one.
One main.
You just need one computer that has access to
all.
to the counting server.
To the 200 or 250?
No, because all the precincts,
Oo.
all the results of the precinct go into one consolidation server.
Yun lang ang mo.
I-access mo lang yon. In fact, in 2013, Smartmatic accessed the transparency server
Okay.
in Pope Pius,
Okay.
in PPCRV. They set up a transparency server. The transparency server is connected to different parties. No? Una was a recipient.
Okay.
LP was a recipient as the dominant and minority party. NAMFREL was also there. KBP. So all the results from the precincts, they went into the transparency server, and then the results were consolidated, and then yun ang ginagamit ngayon ng press and the majority and minority party for the results. But it so happened at 7:50 of May 13, 2013,
Okay.
7:50 at night, yung votes ni Grace po umabot na
Umakyat.
12 million,
Okay.
wherein 1,400 precincts were only counted.
What is the most,
Assuming that,
sellable reason why it went up to that much?
again, nagkamali sa programming. As simple as that.
Sa simula pa lang mali na.
Nagdodoble-doble daw. So, meaning, like, kunyari, precinct number 1, pumasok. No? Tapos, hindi pa siya full results. No? Pumasok ulit, nabasa ulit yung precinct number 1, so nadoble ngayon.
Pwedeng precinct number 1, 2 beses naglabas?
2 beses nag-send,
Nagpadala?
2 beses na bilang.
O pwedeng precinct number 1, yung isa legal, yung isa illegal?
Pwede rin.
Pwedeng
Pwede
ganon.
rin. But the mere fact is, umabot ng 12 million.
Bakit hindi na-block yung isa?
Okay?
Or-
That happened already also in 2010. No? We do have paper evidence. No?
And then the COMELEC just readjusted it?
Yes.
Just like that?
Where can you find an election agency that you have a public-facing website that says 12 million and then suddenly PPCRV says,
Babagsak.
we made a mistake, let's stop it. In fact, in the press release of PPCRB, they actually admitted that Marlon Garcia of Smartmatic rectified the programs.
Now, let me ask you, Leo, no? If all this is happening, Comelec will always say, these are conspiracy theories and, these are people who are always thinking in those terms. How come nobody's coming out? I'm sure there's some guardian angel, behind every computer hacker thinking na, siguro lumabas na tayo, aminin na natin na tayo yung ginamit ng ganito at sabihin natin, dinaya yung eleksyon para sa kabutihan ng ating republika. Wala bang mga IT experts na may konsyensya or merong mga guardian angel para lumabas sila, aminin nila?
Well, hope springs eternal.
Okay.
I remember, I think in 1983,
Yes.
the programmers of the National Computer Center actually walked out
Okay.
of PICC.
Okay.
We are hoping that something like that would happen again. No?
Uh-huh.
Maybe one whistleblower who was part of the operations would come out and say, yeah, I did. I made I did some modifications.
Kahit isa lang, dalawa o tatlo.
But having said that, Eric, the Comelec Advisory Council report in January of 2014 already stated very explicitly that Smartmatic deleted files
Okay.
in the transparency server, they modified files in the transparency server, and they actually installed a intermediary work file server.
Okay.
Meaning between the transparency server and the
Okay.
recipients,
Okay.
naglagay sila ng isang
Pagitna.
computer sa
Okay.
gitna. Kaya sabi ko, isa lang kailangan eh.
Parang cleaning house yan.
Filtering.
Filtering house. Okay.
Parang, di ba?
Okay.
And the sad part about it, again, according to the Comelec Advisory Council report, Comelec took the results from this intermediary
Yes, yes,
server.
yes.
No? And this intermediary server was not even in the same location as in Popayos. It
Okay.
was remotely
different-
again. It was in a remote place. So as I said, you don't need several PICOS machines. You just need one computer that has access. Kasi once you change already the results, and then na-declare, na-proclaim na silang senators, na-proclaim na silang president, it's an uphill battle to have that proclamation rescinded.
Leo, has been the practice, like with my father, when he got proclaimed, on the day that he was proclaimed, his votes are there. But I think very recently, ngayon lang ako nakita na may mga senador na na-proclaim na yung definite number of senators or votes nila hindi
Wala
pa
Exactly.
hindi pa malinaw. And on that basis, they already took their oaths.
By extrapolation.
Extrapolation na ito na yung winning.
Oo. And kung gano'n, di dapat yung National Statistics Office na lang gawin natin
Oh,
Di ba? Kasi
yes.
rather than Comelec and
With margin for error, plus or minus. Oh, di ba?
Sabi nga, I think it was ex-Commissioner Gaslagman who said, kung gano'n din lang, magpa-survey na lang tayo, mas mura pa. Kasi parang gano'n yung lumabas.
It becomes a popularity survey.
Exactly.
Oo.
No? And I at that point in time, we were all wondering, why the haste?
Yes.
Ba't kayo nagmamadali? Wala namang, of course, may deadline, may logical deadline yung pag-proclaim.
Oo.
But you could have waited for a few more
Yes.
days
Oo.
until maybe all the legitimate results were in.
Yes.
So walang question. Kasi it will definitely backfire. You're shooting yourself in the foot by proclaiming based on extrapolated data.
What is it? Is it because, I don't know, is it sociocultural? We're into this fast food kind of mentality where we want instant gratification. We don't want the teachers to be there anymore, waiting, sweating it out 3-4 days. We don't want the ROTC counting and guarding our polls. What is it?
I think we're doing an injustice when we talk of teachers as just wanting to do that particular chore and go home. No?
Oo.
I think everybody wants to provide that kind of civic duty.
Yes.
No? So I think if the teachers are asked to do additional work of counting
Okay.
and staying put, I think they will. And aside from the teachers, we also have a lot of other civic-minded professionals.
Okay.
No? Like maybe the laity, the nuns and the priests can also help out. No? So it's not, in terms of the logistics, I think that's the least of our concerns. I think if the Filipinos are asked to do their civic duty to make sure that the proclamation of a president is accurate, then I think everybody will do their duty.
In terms of public reaction, people have heard about, PICOS. That's why they call it hocus
picos.
hocus picos. In Bisaya, we call it hocus ticas, which ticas meaning cheating. What is it? And I have some points. The reaction is because few people understand it. Could it be because they cannot confront their suspicion? They don't want to destroy their illusions? Is that the reason why there is no public outcry? Or is it because people are focused on their survival, and therefore they are designating the more, important issues such as democracy and all this to delegated it to other parts of their being? There's no blood in the streets. In other countries, there will be blood on the streets. What is it?
My 2 cents worth, Eric, is that I think Filipinos have gone to the point of cynicism already about our political leaders.
Andyan na yan, tanggap na natin yan.
So regardless of whether nandaya ka o hindi, dadayain mo pa rin kami, nanakawan mo pa rin kami in the future once ma-elect ka na. So sa amin parang, I think majority of the voters think that regardless of kung sino pang maupo dyan, magnanakaw at magnanakaw yan.
Okay.
It's unfair to the very good politicians, no? But
Yes.
I think it's becoming the rule rather than the exception.
But Leo, we have to clarify this to our people. Iba yung kakaupo lang, and then of course, in the later on, magnanakaw, as against yung hindi hinalal, tapos magnanakaw pa.
That's a very
That's a compounded.
That's a very good. That's a compounding and compounded issue. No? It's one wrong over another bigger wrong.
So bakit parang people are busy with trying to survive, trying to eke out a living. They're more focused about being able to laugh in front of TV, being entertained, looking at songs, following their telenovelas.
That's true. No, I think. But I think in fairness also, no. Every time I take a cab or ride jeepneys, I try to stay beside the driver. And I ask him, no, anong tingin niyo dun sa kung sino mananalo sa 2016? Anong palagay niyo dun sa PICOS? And most of them, ang sagot nila is kahit sino naman ang may dayaan dyan eh. Tapos kung sino man maupo dyan,
magnanakaw din.
Hindi naman magbabago yung buhay ko eh. So, and I think that's the kind of cynicism also that we need to change eh. We need to make Filipinos more, like what you said, more involved. More, kumbaga sa sugal, tumaya ka din.
Okay. Is this the reason why we have to explain to our public there's a whole lot of difference between retail and wholesale cheating?
Yes. Ever since I had that presentation with Harry, no?
Yes.
I've been getting a lot of messages.
Yes.
And they were saying, Leo, thank you for the explanation. It's only now that we've understood.
Luminaw lahat eh.
Luminaw yung kung paano pwedeng mandaya at paano nandaya before. And I said, if you can just change one person, hopefully that will have some multiplier effect. No? But and the campaign that we're trying to do to put up now is yung resibo campaign, no? Na bumoto ka pag ang PICOS may resibo. Kasi kung ayaw nila magbigay ng resibo, like any establishment, hindi ka pupunta sa isang establishmento na pag bumili ka, hindi ka bibigyan ng resibo. Same thing with PICOS. Kung pinipilit ng COMELEC pa rin,
yung PICOS, na walang resibo,
something is wrong. Diba?
This will now lead me to my final question. What does it mean? If you'll have PICOS, you'll have Smartmatic, and then there is no resibo for 2016. What is that?
Definitely, it will be a selection, not an election.
Okay.
Meron nang napili. Hindi na ikaw ang pipili.
So in simple terms, ladies and gentlemen, this will be one of the greatest larceny in Philippine elections again for 2016. It will be a repeat of 2010, 2013, and perhaps.
And our country cannot survive that. In 2010, regardless of what the faults of PICOS are, you had a landslide victory. But I think in 2016, it will be very, very close. And we might be sitting on a powder keg of a revolution if the losing candidate doesn't accept the legitimacy of his or her loss.
Well, we hope that the 1 hour was able to open up a few minds and create a few heartbeats for emotion and conscience. Thank you very much, Leo.
Thank you, Eric, for this opportunity. Thank you.
And ito po si Eric Espina, palagi po nagsasabi, magmasid, makialam. Higit sa lahat ay manindigan dahil wala pong magmamahal sa Pilipino kung hindi ang Pilipino. Daghang salamat, mayong gabi kaninyong tanan.